back, friends. It is time for yet another recap of our favorite bit of mess, Love is Blind Season 5. Now, we are at episodes 8 and 9, so I guess they were like, look, the wedding and the reunion are going to be their own episodes on their own separate weeks. I don't know what the release schedule is. I tried to look it up and then I forgot. And we're just here. We're just enjoying the vibes that they're giving us. Because they are, I told you, they are like baby birding, spoon feeding us. Just a little bit at a time. They were like, look, take this little nibble. Because, like, why would you give us 4 episodes up top and then be like, okay, so here's 4, and then here's 3, and then here's 2. It's like, okay, just drop them. Just drop them all. Or honestly, at this point, just do a week by week, because we're pretty much getting to the point where you could have just done a week by week at this point. All right. But anywho, so the episodes that we are covering today are episodes 8 and 9. So episode 8 starts with a recap of the drama from not even just the previous week, but like we literally go all the way back, like pod drama, like just getting out drama, Mexico drama, all the stuff. We getting all the recap. And it's just like, again, Netflix, I was right here. Like, it has not been enough time to warrant this level of recap. Like, why are we doing this? So the episode officially starts right where we left off in the last episode. Uche was pulling Milton aside to try to have a conversation with him. And he was like, just kind of saying like, oh, I feel like Lydia did this, she applied to be on the show to try to get with me, and like we're friends and I just want to protect you and blah blah blah. I'm like, I really couldn't tell if Uche was like actually venting or if he was like, hey, like as a friend, like I just want to make sure that you're careful, because like y'all have only been friends for a few weeks, and I'm just like, it's giving love bombing, and like I guess I didn't fully process that you could love bomb platonically, but that's what it's giving. And then while Uche and Milton are talking, Lydia comes over and like essentially at this point Lydia is ready to go, so she's trying to get Milton to be like, come on, let's go, like I'm ready to leave. And both Uche and Milton are like hold on, like like give us a minute, like we're talking. And Lydia is not going. She's like, I'm ready to go now. Like she is like yanking Milton, being like, come on, we're leaving. And Uche is like, don't let her control you. Like, are you gonna like let her talk to you like that? And I was just like, bro, like that's his fiance, like he respects her, so like at least he's gonna go and talk to her and hear her out. Like it just wasn't giving. It was really giving, if I'm miserable, I want everyone else around me to be miserable as well. And it's like that's not the vibe, Uche. So Uche goes back over to the group and is venting a little bit. Johnie and Stacy almost get into a little spat because Uche had said something, and like Johnny's jaw dropped when he said it, and she's like looking around. I guess like sometimes when something like shocks you so much, you're just like, is anybody else feeling the way that I'm feeling right now? That's what Johnie was doing. But I guess Stacy saw it as, why is she looking at me? And Stacy was like irate. She was like, why are you looking at me? And she was like, I was just looking around. I was like, bro, Stacy, chill, bro. So eventually, Stacy decides that she wants the tea more than she wants Johnny's head. So they let Uche finish talking. And then Stacy and some of the other girls are defending Lydia and just kind of saying that Uche is only, saying like his side of the story, and like they really like Lydia, and they know a little bit more of what was happening between Lydia and Aaliyah inside the pods, or I mean inside the like living quarters, that Uche doesn't know anything about. And so they were like, that's not exactly how it happened, and like it's not quite true. And it's kind of like really like sticking up for their friend, which I can admire that. Like that's cool, girl power. We got to stand together. So while Uche is like trying to make his points or whatever, like he's just really being mad rude about like his tone and like how he's talking to the other people who are trying to stand up for their friend. And at one point Miriam tries to say something, and Uche tells her to stop talking. And I really kind of want to know the backstory of why Miriam got so triggered, because she was irate at that point. She was livid. She was like, you're not gonna tell me to stop talking. You're talking about my friend. I'm gonna defend her, this, that, and the third. And I was like, Like, okay, girl, you better tell him what's up. And then Uche ends up like trying to walk away, and because like all the girls at this point are like dogpiling on him because he was being like he was being disrespectful the entire time, but then he was getting personally rude to people who were sitting there with him. And like all the girls were like, "What you not gonna do is this." And so Uche realized it was a losing battle, and he was like, "I'm gonna skedaddle." And Miriam was like, "Yeah, walk away," because Uche was talking about like, do you have a job? Do you live in Houston or do you live in Saudi Arabia? And it's being mad disrespectful. Like, granted, I didn't even know that Saudi Arabia was an option for where she lived. I was like, what part are we missing? But like she was saying like, yes, I live in Houston and I graduated from Johns Hopkins. Like just pretty much like drop her resume while we're talking right now. And I'm just like, what? It was just so much, and I was just like, this is a lot going on. Like I'm really good on this. So Lydia and Milton come back, and Lydia is talking to the girls, and then Milton goes to talk to Uche. Um, so with the girls, Johnie brings up that Lydia knew that Uche was going to be on the show, and I kind of like she kind of is giving like the Lachey's or like the producers at this point because she's just kind of like, okay, so this information was presented. How do you feel about that? What's your rebuttal? And I was like, it's really not giving friend. It's giving catty and where's the tea? And I did not appreciate that. But at the same time, from someone who is enjoying the mess, yes, girl, ask the questions because I want to know too. And Lydia was just kind of like, why would I do that? Like, how would I know that? Which to me isn't actually an answer. It's a deflection. Because it's like, did you know that he was going to be on the show before you applied? Yes or no? And maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it. But I don't feel like she said no. It feels like she was just saying, like, why would I do that? How would I know that? Because you checked his computer. You, uh, mm. I just feel like there are ways, and I'm just like, girl, I need a concrete answer. Like, I'm getting more on Lydia's side, but like, I don't know, bro. It's honestly hard to root for anybody on this show. It really is. Like, you come in the first day, you be like, oh, these are my people. This is what I'm gonna root for. And then 2 episodes later, you're just like, actually, no, I'm good. I'm gonna pass on that, actually. So back over with Uche and Milton. Uche is, like, oh, like you're my friend, and I'm just like looking out for you, and da 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 da. But at the end of the day, it feels like he is telling Milton to leave Lydia, and it's not even necessarily giving like, I think that you deserve so much better. To me, it felt like it was just a whole lot of bitterness. It felt really bitter, which is ironic because Uche was calling people bitter, but like he was fully giving bitter because the person who he wanted left him because the person who he did not want was putting bugs in people's ears and made the person that he wanted uncomfortable. And it's just like Uche, you can't win for losing. Like this ain't it, boss. Not at all. Milton is way more mature than I or Uche gave him credit for because he is not phased by Uche's pleas for him to leave Lydia at all. And he kind of gives a comparison of how they are all on different planes. How like Lydia has her perspective, Uche has his perspective, and Milton has his own perspective. And how everyone's perspective is their own reality. And Milton's just kind of like, I have my connection with Lydia. It is what it is. And, you can say what you're going to say, but at the end of the day, it's my decision. He didn't say all those words, but like, that's what he meant. So Chris and Izzy talk again, and Izzy is saying how Johnie said, I love you, and then like she was falling in love with him. And Chris did not know that the L word had been dropped. Stacy comes over because I guess she was trying to leave the other mess that was happening on the different couches. So she thought that coming up there was going to be chill. It was not. She walked in straight on some drama, and she was like, whew, goodness gracious. So then once I wouldn't say Izzy and Chris got heated, but like they seemed to get more passionate about what they were saying. Johnie came over as well, and she was like, "What's going on over here?" Like, not even being like, "Let me defend my man." It just seemed like she was like, "I feel like y'all were talking about me," which now that I say that out loud, is fair. Because if I saw some people in a corner and I felt like they were talking about me, I would go over there too. Izzy and Stacy are pretty much saying how they don't trust Johnie and how they don't like her. And Johnie was like, you know, you never told me that Izzy was your person, that was your number one. And Stacy's like, why would I? I don't trust you and I don't like you. And that's fair. Like you don't have to tell anybody anything. Honestly, to me, I wouldn't tell nobody nothing. Like, it feels like it would get really messy if you're like, this is my number one person, because you think that that person may be someone else's number one. So I'm just, no, I'm not telling you. It's a competition. I'm trying to win my husband here. Like, back up. Johnie pours out some crocodile tears, and you know, people are trying to comfort her or whatever. Like, okay, girl, sure. So over at another corner, Milton is comforting Lydia, trying to get her to calm down. And one line that he said that really just rubbed me the absolute wrong way, as someone who is also very emotional and takes things to heart. Granted, it is something I'm working on. I know that not every issue is that big, but the fact of the matter is, if I am expressing an emotion to you, don't you fix your mouth to tell me, what did I tell you about being so emotional? Lydia is a better woman than me, because I would have left him standing right there, because what you're not going to do is invalidate my feelings. Like, I understand that their personality types are very different, and I have been around people who are more stoic, and then when I may have heightened emotions, like, granted, in hindsight, I will realize that like I was doing a lot, but in that moment, because like the feelings are valid, it's just I may be doing a lot with the emotions. But like, don't invalidate me in that moment. Like, let's say like, hey, like, let's go somewhere, let's cool down, because honestly, it's only gonna last like 5 minutes, and then I'm done. I've run out of steam, I'm tired, it's exhausting. But like, don't, what did I tell you about being so emotional? Do you want to get drop kicked, Milton? Like, I that pissed me off so much. um so Stacy and Izzy go home, and unpack what happened that night. And Stacy is confused that Izzy is so like gung ho on defending slash maintaining a friendship with Chris. And Izzy is just like, oh, well, you know, Chris is my friend. I think he's a stand up guy, you know, and essentially saying that he didn't necessarily need to be with Johnie. And Stacy's just like, okay, but who cares? Like, it doesn't seem that he likes you very much. It seems like he really is invested in dating Johnie. So why are you getting yourself in the middle of this? Why are you so concerned? And they just kind of have a circle conversation where neither party gets anywhere. And then Izzy says that he was turned on when Stacy was like chewing out Johnie. And that gave me the ick, because, and it gave Stacy the ick as well, because she was like, it feels like he's most excited about her when there's like a conflict with someone else. So essentially, like when she's being like the super loud, like aggressive version of herself, that's when he likes her the most. And while I don't think that that is true, that is probably how it felt to her in that moment. So, you know, she has every right to voice that opinion. They eventually do get past it. Oh, like none of their arguments last very long. Like they'll have like very like heated, passionate arguments or disagreements for like 5 minutes. And then they're just like, I'm here for you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to fight for you. Okay. All right, y'all. We like, I feel like a lot of their issues can be resolved over text. Like, that's how quick their arguments are. So that argument ends, but then Stacy is like, she feels like Izzy doesn't do enough, and Izzy's like, what am I not doing? And like, Stacy doesn't really have anything to say, and Izzy's like, well, give me an example of when I'm not doing enough. And Stacy is like, oh, like I cooked for you like these times and you haven't cooked for me. And he's like, okay, I admit that I can, I can do better about cooking, but like outside of that, like what am I not doing for you? Again, Stacy doesn't really have an answer. Izzy's like, sometimes Stacy makes him feel like he's not good enough for her, and like he is having like a whole like breakdown, like it's a whole thing. And I kind of felt bad for the dude because like Stacy definitely gives like first class YSL Hermes. I don't even know if I said that right. Stacy fully gives like high dollar everything, like crystal or nothing. Like her thing about her wedding ring was a band or a boulder. Like she is money. And this is something that's new to Izzy, and I kind of feel bad for him. Sidebar. When Stacy got down off of the counter, we saw that her shoes were on the counter behind her. And granted, while they were on a towel, why? Why were they on the counter? Like there was a floor that you hopped back down to get on to walk to where you went. There was a door that I'm pretty sure that there are some shoes over there by. Like Izzy put his shoes on the bed for one of the like little confessional talk things, and then Stacy put her shoes on the counter. This is why our parents said that you can't eat everybody's food. You can't go over like you because people are nasty. Why are your shoes on the counter? Like the shoes on the bed was one thing. Like you can I don't know. I still don't like it. My shoes don't go on my bed, but cool. But the counter, people eat here. Why would you do that? Ugh. So Milton and Lydia have another talk and are unpacking the night as well. Milton is trying to get Lydia to be less emotional, but more so as to not let things get to her so deeply and like get her so worked up. And it's like I was saying earlier, like I understand that his intentions are well meaning, but it just felt like in that moment especially, it just kind of felt like he was just like, you're doing it again, you're being emotional, you're having an emotional reaction. I wouldn't react like that. Like, so you should calm down. Oh God, I hope he did not say calm down. That was just the words that came out of my mouth. But like, I pray he did not say calm down. 'Cause after a lot of growth and therapy, I will not respond well to someone telling me to calm down because my reaction to something is not the way that they wanted or thought that I would react. And so they're just like, you're doing too much. I don't like this. This is me. These are my emotions. I'm going to express myself. I'm going to tell you how it is. Anyway, I'm ranting. And so while they're talking, I noticed that Lydia says I love you twice. Like, well, she says it one way and then she like flat out says I love you. And Milton does not respond either time. He slick like starts kissing her to like distract her, it feels like. And I'm just like, what's going on? And then she says that she can't wait to marry him. And he also says nothing. And I'm just like, because maybe I'm reading too much into it. But why are you not responding to her? Like, this is making Milton. She said something that you should respond to. A few days later, the timeline is wonky with this because they show us like this many days until the wedding. I tried to keep up, but I kept forgetting. Izzy shows up to Stacy's job to kind of talk things through. They make up. Stacy reassures him it's all good. He gets her a plunger, like for the inside joke of, her clogging up the toilet in Mexico, and then gets her a picture of them with their dogs. So it's really cute. And then later Izzy's mom comes over to meet Stacy, but Stacy isn't there yet. And so Izzy and his mom are talking and it's all like cute and real boy mom type stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. Stacy gets there, they talk a little bit more. Izzy's mom explains that essentially she is nervous for her son. And Stacy and Izzy are like, we're willing to put in the work and we're gonna make this work. This, it's hard, but we love each other so much, we're gonna make it work. And I'm just like, okay, because I don't care anymore. After that, their little like, oh, I'm gonna put the work in. Um, Izzy's mom is like, oh, I'm really like, thank you for telling me that. Like, I'm really glad to hear that. And then Izzy goes to give his mom a hug in a very mama's boy way that made me feel very uncomfortable. Um, I don't, I, Moms and their sons sometimes, especially like if it's like a single mom, like that boy mom relationship can get real weird sometimes. It can get real weird. And the way he like was essentially laying on top of her on the couch. And I was just like, and Stacy's just laughing, like, oh ha ha ha. And I'm just like, we don't feel the type way about that. Okay. Okay, girl. So on the other side, Milton and Lydia go to Milton's family's house, and his family immediately jumps in with the questions because I wouldn't even say that they don't care for Lydia, but they are very concerned because Milton is so young, and there is I want to say a 6 year age difference between the two of them, and they're just kind of like, I'm not really seeing it. And Milton's sister keeps saying like everyone thinks it's fake, and it's just like, okay, girl, you think it's fake. Stop trying to drag everybody else into your opinions. If you think it's fake, I think this is fake, which she did at some point, but she kept saying we, and I was like, okay, girl. So Milton's mom and sister talk to Lydia alone, and like his mom is like talking about the marriage from like a business aspect, talking about like SWOT analysis and stuff, and I'm just like, while I do think you should weigh your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of getting married, I just feel like saying the word SWOT analysis, it just didn't feel right. Like I agree with you, but not the way you said it. And there was one part where like Milton's mom said that a lot of Lydia's answers felt rehearsed, and so like that kind of made her think that this may not be the truest arrangement. And I kind of was more so on Lydia's side with this because I feel like, especially if I know that I'm, somebody I care about, I'm meeting somebody very important to them, I probably will practice some of my answers. Like, I'm at least going to think about it so I know what I'm going to say when I meet you. Like, I'm not going to just go in and be like, hey, y'all, what's up? We winging it. Like, I'm trying to make a good impression. So, yeah, I'm gonna know what I'm going to say to you. So that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. His family seemed really overprotective, and I was just like, I mean, I get it, but at the end of the day, like, you gonna have to let your baby boy grow. Now in episode 9, we pretty much focus solely on the two couples. They are going to get their marriage licenses, so we see both of them go get that, and now we are a week out from the wedding. And Lydia, Stacy, and their family and friends go dress shopping with Vanessa Lachey, while Izzy and Milton and their family and friends go tux shopping. And so it's just kind of like a cute little thing of like them looking at dresses, and like honestly I feel like we spend more time with the women looking at dresses because they know their demo. They know that it's mainly women who are watching this. We want to see the dresses. Like, we want to have the tears of emotion. I teared up a little bit. Like, I love me some say yes to the dress. So wedding dress shopping is my jam. Stacy and Izzy go on a date to fly in like a classic like 4-seater plane thing or whatever. It's really cute. And then they end up having dinner in the hangar, and they end up like slow dancing. It's all really sweet, really romantic, and I was like, oh, how cute is that? Because it's like focusing on like, this is probably like one of their final dates before the wedding, and so we're kind of just like having like a really cute moment. I think there may have been like a little like rift that they got resolved, but like nothing too major. Then we head over to Milton and Lydia's date, and it is like a complete 180 from Izzy and Stacy's date. So they are at a like rock museum. I'm not for sure like what the actual like title, like maybe it's like a natural history museum, but it's like all like gems and rocks and stuff that they are nerding out about. So they walk through a little bit, and then of course, they have like a little dinner. So I'm guessing like the show bought out the whole museum, which, okay. And so like they're having their little like banter or whatever. Like Lydia's doing a little bit more of the heavy lifting. Milton is just kind of like, okay, I'm here. I forget the exact question, but Lydia asked Milton like, what's one thing that he is like thinking about with being married to her, and he says that sometimes she wakes up really angry, and she's like, what? And he's like, you wake up and you're pissed off. And she's like, because you did something to piss me off. And he's like, you woke up 30 seconds ago. How are you that mad that fast? And so essentially they start talking about their cohabitation habits, and how Milton is very messy, and like he leaves stuff, like he'll leave his clothes on the floor, he leaves his towel on the floor, he'll leave like dishes on the couch, or like he'll leave stuff by the bedside, and like it took him 3 days to wash the dishes. And they essentially get back to the conversation that probably is the root of this animosity right now, about Lydia's emotional response with Uche, and how Milton is saying that he doesn't let people get to him in that way that she does. And I feel like Milton is trying his best to convey his message the best way that he can, because he even said early in the episode, like during the tux fitting, that he definitely has more of a filter now. He knows the way that he can say things will hurt Lydia's feelings, and so he tries to be very careful of how he says things. But that don't matter, because Lydia is still upset. And she was like, she feels like Milton is judging her, and had expectations of her, and he's like, I would never like put expectations on you. And me and Lydia both was like, it feels like you did. Because it's like, while I understand of like, hey, you shouldn't let people get you so out of your element like that. In that moment, that's not what she needed. All she needed was to know that her man got her back and that she could leave. They have a little bit of animosity, and it's just kind of like, whew, okay, I guess we're gonna see where this goes. Sidebar, 2 things. So the waiter came by, and as he was like pouring them more champagne, they kept talking while he was pouring, and that just irritated my soul, because it's just like, y'all are having like a very deep conversation, and there's just this random third party that just like, he's trying to do his job. Like, at least stop talking like while he's there. Like, acknowledge his existence and be like, thank you for our refills or whatever. But like, I just didn't like that. And then 2, since they were having this heated conversation over dinner, which gave them an out to not look the other person in the eye, they just weren't. Like, if they didn't like what the other person was saying, they would just look down and eat their food. Ugh! Like, as someone who also struggles with maintaining eye contact, but I think that's just anxiety. Like, I don't like heated conversations, but like, I understand that like sometimes like strong conversations have to be had. I get that. But like, I like, especially if I'm pouring my heart out to you, like I'm really have been holding this in, and I'm finally just like, we need to have this conversation, and you looking at your chicken, so looking at me in the eye, you shoveling whatever it was that they were eating, you shoveling your food in your face while I'm trying to talk to you. Don't do that. Don't do that. But next week we have the weddings, and we are going to see how everything goes. Now, I have not looked it up, but I'm pretty sure that the wedding episode is going to be on its own, and then the reunion episode is going to be on its own, because why would they give us nice things? Why would they give us both of the episodes at the same time? So we will be talking about the weddings next week, and I hope to see y'all there. I can't wait. I'm so excited. It's going to be great. But until next time, y'all be easy. Bye.